English writing skills, punctuation marks, Lesson 6. In this lesson, we'll practice writing titles and names, titles of artistic works, names of artists, and more. And I'll explain when we need commas with adjective clauses. Finally, we'll take a look at the use of quotation marks to set off words with a special meaning.
Hello everyone. Let's talk about movies, specifically movies about magical powers and special abilities. Do you know the movie Phenomenon from the 1990s? John Travolta plays a simple man who receives a gift. Let's punctuate these two sentences. The first is a question. We have a capital letter to start our sentence, and we have a question mark as our final sentence punctuation. That's good. But there is a mistake. Do you see it? First of all, I hope you know that it's not here. That is correct. Remember from our previous lesson that we do not need an apostrophe to refer to the decade, 1990s. The mistake is here. We have a title of a movie, but how do we show that it's the title of a movie? First, we'll capitalize the P. We have one word as the title. We're going to capitalize that word. If we had a larger title, a longer title, we would capitalize the first letter of all main words, principal words, content words, important words, whatever you want to call them. Okay? But we need to do something more. Because I'm writing by hand, I'm going to underline the title of this movie, this title of an artistic work. Usually when you write these days, you're on a computer though. On a computer, you would place this title in italics, those slanted letters. So to show a title of a large artistic work, such as a movie, a book, a play, a musical, a TV show, you capitalize the first letter of the first word and then all principal words, and you place that title in italics. If you happen to be writing by hand, you can underline the title. Okay? Moving on. John Travolta is a name of a person. This is a proper noun. Let's be sure to capitalize the J and the T, first name and last name. He plays a simple man who receives a gift. Here we have an adjective clause. We have this information and it's describing the noun man. The question is, do we need a comma right here? To answer that question, you have to understand, is this information necessary or additional? Is it extra and could we leave it out? No, this information in the adjective clause is necessary. It identifies man. Because it's identifying the noun, we do not need a comma. Commas are used to set off adjective clauses that give extra information that could be left out. That's not the case here, so no comma. Finally, I'm going to use double quotation marks around gift, making sure my period falls inside the double quotation marks. But why? This isn't direct speech. Listen to my voice for a clue. John Travolta plays a simple man who receives a gift. I'm setting this word off because I'm using a special meaning, not the usual one. I don't mean a box that's nicely gift wrapped. I'm talking about something different, something special, a gift. Let's continue talking about the movie Phenomenon. We've already talked about John Travolta's character, George. Now let me tell you about George's love interest, Lace. Lace, who is played by Kira Sedgwick, learns to accept George's special powers. First, let's talk about the adjective clause. Do you see it? Who is played by Kira Sedgwick. Does this adjective clause give necessary information or extra information? Could we take the clause out, and would the statement make sense? Yes. I could say Lace learns to accept George's special powers. Makes perfect sense. Because this gives extra information, it's additional, I'm going to set off the adjective clause with commas. If I were to read this aloud, my voice would recognize those commas with a slight pause and slightly lower intonation. Listen. Lace, who is played by Kira Sedgwick, learns to accept George's special powers. Do you hear the drop? And then I go up again. All right, now let's talk about names. Capitalized, good. Kira Sedgwick, first name. Last name needs to be capitalized. George, whose power? George's power or powers. Okay, capitalizing all of our names, our proper nouns.
Let me share some other names from the cast and crew of Phenomenon. Here's one, Sean O'Brien. This actor has an Irish name. Look how his last name is written. This format is seen in many other Irish last names. O'Hara, O'Malley, O'Rourke. They all have an O, apostrophe, and then another capital letter. You'll see a similar pattern in many Italian last names. Hallie d'Amore, Justin DiPego. My pronunciation may be off, but the format is correct. Here's one, Donnie McMillan. Donnie has a Scottish last name. Whether it's Mick or Mac, you'll also see two capital letters within the last name. McMillan, McSteen, McDonald, McAllister. Bruce A. Young is another actor in the film. Bruce has a middle name, but we don't know it because he only gives his middle initial, A, the first letter. Whether it's an initial for a middle name or a first name, initials must be written with uppercase letters. They're followed by periods, and we separate them with a space. Now look at three more names. Craig B. Ayers Sr., Alejandro Diaz Jr. Senior, Junior refer to father and son. So Craig has a son with the same name. Alejandro has a father with the same name. George A. Castle III, well, his name is pretty common in his family. There are 3 men with the same name, and he's the third.
Do you know what a soundtrack is? A soundtrack is all the music from a film. A lot of the music that I listen to comes from my favorite movies. As for Phenomenon, the film has a good soundtrack with songs like Have a Little Faith in Me. Look at this sentence. Capital letter period. Looks pretty good. But here we have a title. A title of what? A song. First, let's capitalize the words that need to be capitalized. The first letter of the first word and all important words. So not an article, but an adjective, a noun, and this pronoun. This is a preposition, a short one. We don't need to capitalize it. This is a song. Compared to a book, a movie, a much larger artistic work, songs are relatively small artistic works. We don't use italics, we use quotation marks. This is the end of my statement, so my period falls inside the double quotation marks. Have a Little Faith in Me is the name of the song, the title. Other examples of smaller artistic works, let me think, are songs, poems, short stories. Those are some common examples. So again, larger artistic works are placed in italics, or you can underline if you're writing by hand. But regardless of whether you're writing by hand or typing on a computer, use quotation marks around smaller artistic works.
This is the end of part 1. Please go on to the next part of this lesson. Please visit my website today at www.englishwithjennifer.com. You'll find study tips, interactive exercises, vocabulary videos, and more.